So like the other day, I think I was listening to the video you sent from Rich, and he was talking about how like he's out here to help people, but he'll get those people who like shoot him a text or a question, and they're like, "Hey, this is my problem," and they'll give them advice, and they won't follow it, and they'll keep crying to him, and he's like, yeah, like it's free money, but he's like, those are the people who aren't willing to help themselves, and I I kind of laughed at that because there was that day that I was on the sidewalk and I bumped into that dude, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy's work, blah blah blah. I got this dilemma with this girl. Could really use your advice on it." And I was like, "Okay, man, like give me your number. I'll hit you up, and we'll make time to sit down and talk about it." And so I did that. One night he like texted me and he was like, "Oh, dude, like it's an emergency. I really need to talk right now." And I was like, "Okay, you got like 30 minutes. We'll meet at this time, this place." And so we did that. And I listened to his story. Um, I listened to his questions. I gave him the advice he wanted, or not that he wanted, but the advice he was asking for and needed, and he didn't heed it, right? And so then, then I didn't hear from him forever. First he texted me and he's like, "Hey man, like we should totally hang out, blah blah blah. That you wouldn't believe it. This chick hit me up. This is going really well, blah 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 blah. All these bullshit excuses too. I haven't read this book yet that you recommended because I don't have a debit card, blah, 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 whatever." And so I run into him a couple of weeks later, and like I'm out with some friends, and he's like, "Hey dude." And I was like, "Hello." And won't use names. Bob, right? "Hey Bob," like Corey always says. And and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I need to talk to you. Like this girl, like it's going south again, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Look, dude, I was real with myself first. I was like, this guy didn't take my advice. I know he didn't. He didn't listen to me. Um, he's still making excuses. He's not doing what the people I believe and practice do. He's not doing what I recommended. Like he's not helping himself. He's just completely winging it and refusing to be logical or helpful at all in any way, productive." So I was like, "Well, dude, I don't think you should let it get you down." And he's like, "Well, I haven't been sleeping, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Dude," "you're out here tonight. Have fun. I got to go. I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm having fun. I'll catch you later. I hope your evening goes well." And I walked away. And that's what you have to do. Like, that's what Rich talks about. He's like, when people hit me up and I know they're not going to take my advice, I don't have time. He's like, I got people to help that want my help. Rich was just saying how you don't want to invite those people into your life. You don't want people who are going to throw their problems at you, and when you offer them advice or help or solutions, they're not willing to fix themselves or listen to you. They just keep sticking to their poor choices and bad path. So I thought that was funny because I was like, "Yeah, I just ran into that the other day."
Right. I like how, or I see it as the interactions you had with him as like an interview process to kind of like enter him into your circle.
Yeah.
Because there's this thing that Jack Donovan wrote called "I Don't Care," which is basically about how you can't mentally like think about and be concerned about the world's problems and everybody's problems. You can
Can't
only
handle them.
right, exactly. You or even handle them in a healthy way.
Well, you can't handle more than a certain amount, basically. You really possibly can't handle that many, like the whole world's problems, all the people, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And you only have your circle, and that's what you should be focused on, your circle of people. And you decide whether to, you can't let everybody into your circle, because that's letting in the whole world into your circle.
Right. Well, that makes me think of Jesus, right? Here's a guy who, what the little people do know about him, I guess if you could call it little, or the little that people would accept as fact, a lot of people would accept as fact, is that there was a dude named Jesus. He had 12 disciples, right? That was Jesus's friend group. Like he knew 12 dudes, and they were all close to each other. And he from there, it was like each of those 12 knew another 12 guys. And each of those 12 knew another 12. And that's how the world gets reached, is you influence your closest friends, and your closest friends influence you and their friends and the couple of close people that they have that aren't in your friend group and their own family. You
Mhm.
influence your friends influence their family influences someone else. You
Right.
don't need
I
to
love
influence
that.
the whole world. You only need to influence, like you're saying, the people who are close to you.
Right. I like that because when Jesus was preaching, he would, go to different cities and stuff like that, and he was never concerned about who didn't listen to him and
Right.
who did. Um, and like you said, he had 12. He didn't have any more than 12 apostles.
And even after he left the world, his apostles influenced, they became the first bishops, I think, of the
Right.
church.
Pope.
And he became, well, one of them became the Pope and the others became the first bishops, and they anointed other popes and bishops and priests and whatnot from there on out. They influenced people themselves. They took what they'd learned from one and spread it to more, and that continued. I like what you were saying, that you interview people. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's like if this dude had taken my advice and gotten his stuff together and read the book I recommended and had respect for what I told him and my advice and had respect for himself, then I might have been like, hey, this guy might be a cool guy to know up here. Like, someone to
Mhm.
hang out with, spend time with, become one of the boys maybe. But yeah, it's like it's an interview process. It's like, oh, dude, I can tell you something, and you can tell completely
Mhm.
through your actions tell me to go fuck myself, basically. Like, I mean, I didn't take it that personally, but
Mhm.
that's kind of, that's what his actions are saying. I don't have respect for what you have to say. I don't know how to pull my own crap together. I'm clearly incompetent in that regard, or I enable myself to be incompetent in that regard. Totally could have fixed his issue. Honestly, it was a very easy problem that he was looking for advice with. Um, Very common, but it's like, yeah, because of that, I was like, this is not a dude who's going to get any of my time.
Right.
Like, I
Right.
gave you a little bit of it. You had a chance. You blew it. You know what to do if you want to have my time in any way. Friends, bros, um, from a mentorship perspective, whatever. It's like, if you want my time, you got to respect my advice. You got to respect yourself.
Mhm.
The interview thing that you're talking about, totally there.
Mhm. And especially seeing if they take your advice or not. It's kind of like if someone does or take your advice, it's like being on a diet that works. If they don't, it's like being on a diet that doesn't work. Um,
Yeah,
it's like, are you gonna, you
you gonna keep doing it.
if someone's going to listen to you the first time and listen to your advice, that means you could still keep giving it and they'd still listen to you. Why would you, bring them into your life and still hope they listen to your advice if they're already starting not to listen to your advice?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is, like, this is something you can think of everywhere. It's the same thing for judging attraction level and people you're interested, that Corey talks about in his book. Um, you you want to qualify people to be in your life. Like, you move to a new job and you start talking to guys. Well, one, you want to put yourself out in the world for who you truly are, and take whatever comes back. If people don't like it, who cares? Move on and seek other people. If you put something out in the world and people love it and give back to you, cool, maybe they should be friends, right? That's the whole idea, is you pre-qualify people for being on your team, so to speak. You meet a new guy and you say, hey dude, this is my views. And if he doesn't like them, maybe you guys just don't become friends, right? That's totally normal. That's how it works. And like,
Mhm.
that's the cool thing, is that's how it should work. You go out there, and if people don't have respect for you, you move on and you find people who do. And those are the people who become your friends.
Mhm.
Like, when I share things with you, you respect the things I have to say. You tell me if I'm wrong. You respect your own boundaries. We're like, hey, dude, we get along. We see eye to eye. So it's the same thing. You want to pre-qualify people. This This dude I encountered, I was like, dude, you came to me asking for advice, literally begging. That looks crappy on your part, but I've been to bad places myself, so no worries. And you give people a chance. I put myself out there to this guy. I was like, this is who I am. This is the advice I have to offer that you're asking for. You don't respect it. You don't listen to it. You don't heed any of my advice. You continually fall in your old ways. You don't want to actually actively find a solution. You just want to throw up all this crap in your life on someone else because you don't want to change it. I don't have time. I'll find someone who does.
Right.
I'm on the road to success. I don't have time for
people. Great mindset to have is I'm going to find someone who does, or, you can't get hung up
I'll keep looking. Yeah, I'm indifferent.
Those type of people. Yeah.
I'm not attached. So,
right.
What's the other one? Not attached, indifferent. I don't take it personally, right? You know how to handle rejection, right? Technically, this guy not taking my advice is a form of rejection, right? Just like when women reject a guy, same idea, I mean, yeah, arguably the same idea. So,
and this might come into rejecting yourself too, of course, in a way that's very respectful and in a way where you can really communicate and share what you're thinking and feeling. But it's like, who are you going to accept into your life? Because the people around you, like me and Drew have talked about before, influence you. You're going to get affected by the people around you. And I think we forget a lot of the time that we're emotional beings and that stuff around us affects us.
Yeah.
And when you're focused on, let's say, your purpose or your work or I don't know, something else, right? It's easy to forget. It's easy to lose awareness of how you could be affected by this situation and how it's affecting your new situation. So it's like, it's kind of like putting, it's your, and this is what Jack Donovan uses. He uses your tribe, but of course, then you have the walls around your tribe, and it's protecting yourself and everybody else in your kingdom.
Yeah.
And you knew that too. You could put yourself out there, right? But you need to also be able to take yourself out and guard yourself, because we're all responsible for ourselves. We have our own responsibility to take care of ourselves first.
And that brings us to a great point to conclude this and wrap it up. Is there it goes. No, I'm just kidding. It's like as a man, you need to have a purpose, and that's why if you have a purpose and you're driving for that purpose, you don't have time for this crap. You don't take this crap personally when other people don't accept you, whether it's women or guys not taking advice or whatever the circumstances in your life. When you're on your purpose, you don't even notice. You're like, this woman showed up. She wasn't interested. Okay, whatever. Back on my purpose. Like I'm taking care of this. This is my mission. This guy showed up. He asked for help. He didn't take my advice. Not taking it personally. I don't care. I'm busy. I'm on my purpose. You keep going. And yeah, the other thing is, those are the kinds of things that hang you up. They distract you from your purpose. If I sat here and been like, dude, here, I'll just lend my ear for another hour to your garbage and your puke that you want to throw up in my ear about how you blah, blah, blah. She texted you, she called you, and now she's not answering you, and you just love her so much, and blah, 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 and all this other crap he was throwing up in my ear. I was like, I could have listened to him all day. I didn't want to. I was like, dude, I got better things to do. I tried to help you. You didn't listen. I'm going to have some respect for myself. You need to have some for yourself. Have a good night. I'm going to go have my night. Like, I'm busy. Tonight, I'm here to hang out with my friends. When I'm done hanging out with my friends, I'm getting right back on the road to success. I don't have time for another hour to lend an ear to someone who doesn't respect me, doesn't want to fix their problem, just wants to continually vent throughout the rest of their life. Like, Don't have time for that crap. So you're the sum of the 5 people you hang out with, you know. So watch out who you're giving your time to and who you're letting inside your circle, guys. That's it.
Don't get hung up on expectations, and just stay working and on your purpose.
Indifference. Don't take rejection personally. Be indifferent. Focus on your purpose.
Alrighty.
Peace.